Hi students, now we are going to learn a very popular principle known as the Archimedes Principle. This is based on the principle of floating bodies. Now in this picture, I have taken a solid spherical ball which is held above a beaker filled with water. And the beaker containing water is kept inside a large trough, a collecting vessel called as trough. Now the trough does not contain any liquid, okay, it is vacant. Now suppose if this solid ball is immersed either partially or fully, it may be partially immersed or fully immersed. Now what will happen to the water present in the beaker? When it is being pressed by this solid, there will be some overflowing of water. Can you see some water is overflowing in both sides? And the overflowing water is collected in this collecting trough. Okay. Now, due to the weight of this ball, it is experiencing some upward force. This upward force exerted by the liquid on the bottom surface of this spherical object is called as upthrust. Upthrust is nothing but an upward force. The buoyant force only is called as upthrust. So, in this case, how to measure the force due to upthrust? The upthrust or buoyant force can be measured, and this will be exactly equal to the weight of the water displaced or the weight of the liquid, any liquid, okay, which is displaced. When the body is partially immersed means less water, less liquid only will be displaced, the weight of the liquid will be lesser, so the upthrust will also be lesser. When the object is fully immersed means then the upthrust also will be larger because more liquid should have been displaced. Okay, so this leads to the principle called the Archimedes Principle. So when a solid is, okay, when a solid or when a object is partially or wholly immersed, partially or wholly immersed in a liquid, it experiences an upthrust or buoyant force which is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. Okay, what is the condition for the body to float on the water? When will a body float on water or any liquid? When the density of this solid is less than the density of the liquid, then the object will float. That is a normal condition we have studied. So the density of the floating object should be lesser than the density of the liquid itself. Or otherwise, we can also say that the body will float if the liquid displaced by it, will have some weight, is it not? So the body will float on any liquid if the weight of the liquid displaced by it is equal to the weight of the body itself. Understand? See, if the weight of the liquid displaced, by the body is equal to the weight of the body, then the body will float. So what we have written, if the weight of the liquid displaced, you can see that this is the displaced liquid, okay, this is the displaced liquid which is collected in a large trough. Find its weight, and if the weight of the liquid displaced by the body is equal to the weight of the body, then the body will float, okay, then the body will float. So this is the condition for flotation, which is based on Archimedes principle. So you will have to remember this statement of Archimedes principle, which is very important for class 9 examination. So what is the statement we will call? Once again recall it. When a solid is partially or wholly immersed in a liquid, then it experiences an upthrust or buoyant force which is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. Okay, weight of the liquid displaced by it. Now there is one story behind the Archimedes principle, that once a king had his crown, golden crown, in which silver has been mixed as impurity. So Archimedes challenged the king that your crown is not made up of pure gold. Okay, then prove it, he said. The king said, Archimedes to prove it. Then he said that the size of the crown will be bulkier if silver is added. Understand? Because silver is massive than gold. Then he immersed in a bathtub and he realized that the crown was not made up of pure gold. And the moment he has found the secret, he shouted out, Eureka, Eureka, means I have found out the truth, I have found the truth, like that. So this the stories behind this Greek mythology, whether it is true or not, but Archimedes principle is true. Understand? So we have already studied that a shot put ball made up of iron, when it is kept on the surface of water, it sinks. But when the same iron is melted and it is made in the form of a large sheet or a cup, okay, then it floats. The same iron having the same weight is floating. So the floating objects are based on which principle? Means the Archimedes principle. Now let us mention some of the applications of the Archimedes principle. So this principle is used in the construction of ships and submarines. It is used in the construction of lactometers, which is used to test the purity of milk. And also it is used in the construction of hydrometers, which are used to measure the density of the liquids. So remember, Archimedes principle states that when a substance is partially or wholly immersed in any liquid, it displaces some liquid. And the weight of the displaced liquid is equal to the buoyant force or the upthrust force acting on the body. And these are the applications you will have to remember for exam. Okay, I hope you have understood well.